everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Whitney Larson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at Horizontal Digital, and I'm with our CTO, Sheetal Jain, and our Salesforce Practice Managing Director, Anil Palania. Let's dive in. So can you talk a little bit about the difference between being data-informed versus data-driven and why it's so important to be data-driven?
You may have heard of that term called unified profile. A lot of people say single source of truth or golden record, but more importantly, how do you allow stitching of that data, understanding that data, and then applying insights in a record amount of time? That is the challenge people don't understand, because that moment has gone. The need of customers is changing every single day. Until yesterday, a customer was really looking to buy a mattress. Today, the customer has the mattress. So there is a span of a day where your marketing entire landscape changes. So it is important to understand that the speed at which this has to be done really has to help. Now, we have given great examples of big enterprises like Amazon, Spotify, Tesla, Uber. But customers say that I am not Amazon. I don't have deep pockets. And the answer to those customers is you don't have to have that. What you need to have is a sound strategy of understanding your customer and the right choice of products.
I love that you said that the sound strategy with the choice of products. You can't just implement a product and expect it to work. You need to have that sound strategy in the background.
And customers say that I have all of these products from data lakes, from product information management, data warehouses, and they have 12 systems collecting the same data. And you're talking about yet another tool. And I think today I really would like to, through this medium of webinar, tell to our customers saying that is why the right choice of tool is important, because time is of essence.
I really love what you guys are saying about the 4 phases and being data informed all the way down to having the wisdom of how to use that data. So what I really want to ask now is, what is the difference between being data informed and data driven? It seems like phases 1 and 2 are really data informed. Phases 3 and 4 is really data driven. And that might be a big gap for a lot of organizations of how to get there. So can you guys expand upon the difference between being just informed and actually using that to drive a business?
Absolutely. I think a lot of organizations, I would say, have been very close to being informed. And part of that is being that collection of the data happens at a tremendous pace. A lot of different systems in an organization collects that data. But the real root question we all have to ask is, what are we doing with that data? Hence, the journey from being data informed to be data driven gets you closer to that wisdom part, actionable insight, so that you can get close to your customer. It is tailored to every different organization. There are 2 important aspects of it: a sound data strategy about how data is being translated, how data is being aggregated, mined, and then the right product which can help you with that insightful data. Today, the common consumer is bombarded with thousands of messages, email messages. If you subscribe, then there are text messages and organic advertisement, organic search leading to these review systems. Customer has issues with trusting a particular brand because they are not serving relevant content. Even today, I would say 50% of our customer base stops at, "Hello, Sheetal, welcome to my site." It is not offering them any meaningful, personalized content which can help the customer convert or build trust and become a lifetime loyalist of a brand.
I actually have a very recent example. So I was in Chicago and I went to buy winter clothing from one of the known stores. And I found a jacket for me because Minneapolis, there was going to be snow. So I wanted to be prepared for it. And while I was buying it, I had this interaction with the person on the counter. And, he came to know about me that, I am from Minneapolis, I'm staying in Minneapolis. And I would term that as information that he gathered from me and from my user subscription number. So he had that information. But what he did not have, the knowledge that I am from Minneapolis, visiting Chicago. And when I gave him that piece of data, he smartly converted his current information, complemented with this additional information, and made a recommendation to me in real time, saying, "Sir, why don't you take this from our store in Minneapolis because there are no taxes on winter clothing there. And you may end up paying taxes if you buy from here.
It's more expensive, even if the base price was the same.
Exactly. And the obvious next question I asked him, can you place an order for me from your Minneapolis store? He said, yes, absolutely. And he did it in like 5 minutes. And I ended up saving more than $50 or so. So that pleased me as a customer because that was an amazing experience I could get in real time firsthand. But if you think from a brand perspective, they had data and they had information with that data. All they needed was to convert that into a knowledge. And they needed that additional piece of information from me.
I would like to place a term which we always hear or read about is called real-time decision making.
Yes.
That is a pristine example of how real-time information gathering and how real-time decisioning can help customers save money or also make them loyalists to that brand. Now, we have to understand that product plays a very important role in it. The recent advent of artificial intelligence and the generative AI is helping customers bridge that gap. Organizations need to understand is essence of time and how could technology help them. So simple things, a sound strategy and a good technology selection can not only speed up, can take that intangible asset of yours, which is data. And I also want to mention that in today's world, data is actually an intellectual property for any organization.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
The usage of that data is intellectual property, core currency of an organization. And once organization understands that, they're going to leapfrog through their competition. And I would like to make a famous statement here saying that data is today's competitive advantage for customers.
It is.
That's it.
It really is. And what I really love about what you said is that it's not only about the product or the asset, it's about that sound strategy behind it. You can't just implement technology without a strategy and expect it to work. So what is that secret sauce?
The secret sauce really is gathering as much data as you can, analyze that data, and put that data into an actionable insights and take an action. So just like there is a recipe to create a sauce in the kitchen, there is a process and a step-by-step journey that customers should embark on to be able to create data-driven experiences for their customers. And it has multiple steps, and organizations can adopt to those steps basis where they are in that journey. But few of the steps include, gather data across channel, all the channels through all the touch points, analyze the data using sophisticated tools and techniques, convert that data from data to information, use that insights to create personalized experiences for your customer, meet your customers where they are on the channels that they prefer and when they prefer. Once you have created these personalized experiences, probably used technologies such as machine learning and analytics, and try to create that knowledgeable data into wisdom data, try to catch patterns, try to predict buying behaviors, try to predict interests, preferences. The next step would be continuously seek feedback from your customer to validate that what you are serving is the real thing that customers are expecting. And through those feedback mechanisms, you should continue to improve your whole data strategy with time, so that again, you are serving to their needs.
I think I love that example, and how data-driven experiences can just change the landscape. And it's a multi-step process. Not only at that, but to organizations, one thing is very inevitable is that the customer data is rapidly growing because the amount of information customer is giving or browsing has increased 700 times in last 10 years. Just imagine the amount of customer I have today is probably 700 megabytes. It would be a megabyte 10 years ago. 700 times more information, which means that there is a lot of things in that which does not make sense.
Right.
Hence, the power of machine learning. A fantastic example was about a recent study which Target, which is a big box retailer here in the United States, did was identifying users' heat maps.
Oh, interesting.
Now, what is that heat map? Heat map is trying to install geofencings in your stores, identifying the most taken route of a particular customer and mapping that into a behavior across thousands of customers and identifying these are the 3 aisles which has the most visibility.
They are so good at product placement.
I think that is the power of data right there. Like, you could clearly tell that across all of your stores, those are the 3 aisles you need to be putting your freshest and the newest product to get the maximum visibility.
You know what I love about that example is that it's not just a digital online example. It's so easy, especially as a marketer, to think about how to use data to personalize experiences in digital means. But when it comes to a physical brick and mortar establishment, using that data to understand buyer behaviors, buyer journeys, so that you can place your products to drive up your revenue and increase buying habits, that is the power of true wisdom.
When we talk about this journey, the multiple steps in this journey to get to the recipe, to the secret sauce for creating data-driven experiences, it usually comes across very overwhelming at first, where most customers think how we are going to get all of this done. And that is where probably it is worth mentioning that it is not as overwhelming as you think, because there are systems and platforms and technologies such as CDPs.
Can you talk about those technologies? Like, what technologies would someone use to be able to aggregate that and automate some of this information?
Specifically, for a brand to be able to create data-driven experiences, the first technology that comes to my mind is any customer data platform.
A CDP.
A CDP.
It's become quite a buzzword here in the marketing world, at least. So can you explain specifically what a CDP is?
Well, CDP is in a nutshell, is a customer data platform where you are bringing in data from multiple touch points of the customer with your brand. You are modeling that data out. You are analyzing that data, creating actionable insights, and then from those actionable insights, you are taking real-time actions for marketing, for customer service, even for your commerce. So essentially, CDP platforms are trying to convert data from information to knowledge, and when complemented with analytics, probably into wisdom. But it's not as simple as that, because one need to understand what kind of data is really needed to be able to get to those actionable customer insights. So CDP platforms collect data such as demographic data, first name, last name, address, phone numbers. They collect transactions data, how many times you have bought on Amazon, what you have bought, how many times you have returned, how many times you have replaced, all the transactional data, and then behavioral data. You may be a big fan of Versace and you may be finding it very expensive to your liking, but you are continuously visiting its website and app and hoping that probably there is some discount or something. So CDP can capture your behavioral data from visiting their sites and apps and use it in their insights, and probably notify you as and when there is a sale or some discounts going in the store close by. Once they have this data, these platforms unify these data using multiple techniques such as exact match, such as fuzzy logic, with your first party information that the system has, and then they try to create a 360 view of you as a customer. And once you have that 360 view of a customer, it is as good as converting that data into a knowledge. So now you have knowledge about your customer. Now you just need to harness and put this knowledge into practice to create the data-driven experiences for your brand and company.
How much data does an organization need to have, different facets of data, for a CDP to make sense?
There is no specific answer to this because, as I said, data is a journey. So the data collection is also a journey itself, driven with your business strategy, is how would I put it. I wouldn't say that this is the bare minimum data that you need.
Sure.
I think it could start with an email address at first, and then it can evolve into, much bigger customer 360 profile.
You ask a question, how much data is enough? Now, obviously being a computer science graduate, and I could tell you that the larger the data set, the better the results. As simple as that.
Correct.
The larger the data, machine learning can provide you more accuracy. But organizations which embark on this journey are naturally overwhelmed because first thing out of the gate is providing business value in this rapidly evolving world. And I always tell customers that the strategy of what do you want to do with the data should start first.
It's a really good point.
So for example, as an organization, you cannot boil the data ocean and expect magical results in a day. It just won't happen. Even today, it cannot happen.
Yep.
However, if you say that this is a targeted use case I want to do, then you can circle back and say, this is the kind of data I need. And then the question becomes easier. Where is that data and how do I get that data? And certainly CDPs could help. Now, one of the use cases about CDP I really want to mention here is CDPs can also help you to not only recommend products, but at the same time can help you to make smart decisions. Imagine, what did I just say? I said, as a customer, CDPs can help you to make smarter decisions. A real-time use case which for a customer we have solved is open enrollment period is approaching.
I love that you're going into a different industry. I love that you're going into HLS. That is a lot of our industry.
Exactly. In open enrollment, customers, either they're B2B, B2B2C, are trying to select a plan. Human psychology says I have to take the cheapest plan because I'm the most healthiest human being. I do exercises and I'll take the cheapest plan possible. But imagine if that particular customer's claims data is accessible to the system and they learn about your behaviors, your age group, marry that with the data through artificial generative AI, saying that age group of this particular nationality, this particular persons have these kind of interesting health habits, that gives you data that plan B may be better than plan A for this specific reason. It is another touch point. The decision is still being made by the consumer, but imagine giving that intelligence at customer tips. That's what CDPs can do for you. And these are some small, easy examples because claims data already exist. Health history already exists. You filled up a questionnaire about your family preferences, your demographics of where you live, where is your preferred network. I should be able to take that information and provide you with that recommendation. So CDPs have really, really powerful use cases.
I love that you brought up HLS because we do have a lot of different industries. Of course, we have consumer business goods. We talk about HLS. We also have FinServ. The interesting part about HLS and FinServ is that data is really highly regulated and it's highly proprietary. So how do you navigate regulated data with CDPs?
That's a very good question. And I think data privacy and obviously different regulated industries have adherence to different privacy standards. Leading software providers of customer data platforms, Salesforce to speak, has very regulated data privacy laws. Not only being SOC 2 compliant, not only making sure your data is safe and secure, but in cases where data is being collected from outside the industry, for example, regulated data about age-specific people and their health habits is a data which is collected from outside, the concept of data grounding comes into place. A data grounding is a concept of making sure that the data which is being leveraged for analysis is through a particular trusted party which adheres to certain data privacy standards. Now, at the end of the day, what we need to understand here is that there are multiple different levels of how we use data. So organizations are moving relatively fast, and we can safely say that trust has been one of the common priorities of a lot of different organizations. And to complement that, a lot of software vendors today are adhering to that. So I feel that it is completely safe. Sure, you have to keep sure that your strategy is in alignment with what you're doing, but definitely that is number one thing which software providers are providing today.
And maybe pay additional attention when you choose a technology at first for your CDP or data-driven experience use cases, and make sure that that piece of technology comes with all the compliances and regulations that your industry requires. So paying that bit of additional attention at the start to making sure these, I think gives you the trust and the confidence that your highly regulated data remains compliant.
Yeah, this is great. This is something that's top of my mind as I think about how to use data. You brought up Salesforce. They announced Data Cloud. Is Data Cloud a CDP?
I think Data Cloud, if anything, it comes closest to a CDP. But one thing is it's much more beyond than just customer data platform, because it has the ability to do unified profile like a lot of CDP does. But I feel that Data Cloud is beyond CDP, and I think Anil, would you like to add a little bit more on that?
Yes, it is a CDP, but it is way more than CDP if you look at it from the lens of marketing.
Okay.
So in today's world, CDPs are looked from the lens of marketing as a tool that makes our marketing more personalized, more segmented, more accurate. But Data Cloud can do all of it and much more. The consumers of a Data Cloud are now beyond marketing. Your customer service agents can use Data Cloud Unified Profile. Your sales teams can use, even your commerce teams can use your unified profiles. So CDPs, while are perceived in the context of marketing, and truly so, Data Cloud boundaries go much beyond this.
Stay tuned for our final episode of the series exploring what Data Cloud really is and how you can get started.